Good morning, good morning. Welcome. Come on in. Welcome to Woo Virtual Space, day 1432, 1432, where our topic today is restoring mind, body wellness in the village. My name is Marilyn Douglas-Jones. I will be your facilitator today. I am a business consultant, educator, coach, and financial services broker. Welcome to day 1432, Restoring Mind Body Wellness in the Village. Grand Rising, welcome, welcome. Okay. All right, welcome. Meeting, okay. Morning Z, morning Sierra. Hopefully everybody has your cup of tea or water or whatever makes you alert and healthy. Okay. So let's see. Good morning, good morning. Come on in. It's 7:01 your space, 6:01 in my space. Come on in. All right. Day 1432. Wake up, everybody in our virtual community. Our topic today is restoring mind body wellness in the village. It's part of a series where we talk about our heritage, our current situation, and how we can put continuity in there for progress, purpose, and peace. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Who do we have here? Okay. Grand Rising, Queen Rashida, how are you this morning?
Grand Rising, Professor Merle, and I am blessed and not stressed. Highly favored.
I'm blessed to have you.
Same. I'm happy to
Okay.
be here.
Yes, yes. I'm happy that you're here. We can have a great conversation about mind body wellness in our village. Okay. Let's see. Welcome, welcome. I'm gonna kind of call everybody, I think. We can do that.
Gotta wake them up.
Okay. We are at day 1432 in the Wake Up Everybody virtual community. Welcome, everyone. It's Monday, only 30 minutes, but it's going to be loaded with some ideas for you to think about all week and moving forward with purpose and passion for progress.
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, we're learning, discerning. We're striving. Together, we're transforming together, together.
Grand Rising, everybody. Welcome to another day in our Wake Up Everybody virtual community. Our topic today is restoring mind body wellness in the village. Good morning, Teresa. Get some people in here. You don't want to miss this, okay? It's Monday, so people are recovering from the weekend, getting ready for the workday. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Our topic again, restoring mind body wellness in the village. Let's stay on that for a second. What do you see as mind body wellness? What is mind body wellness? Let's not have a lot of dead space. Queen Rashida, mind body wellness. What does that mean for you? Unmute. Anyone?
I will start us off.
See?
For me, mind, body wellness is wholeness. It mental health and physical health go
Absolutely.
hand in hand, and
Mhm.
optimum wholeness is wellness in both areas, as well as spiritual health.
Right, right. Absolutely. So it's an alignment of the mind and the body. And in confusing times or confusing spaces, the mind and the body may not work well together if we are not healthy, right? So we need to take care of our mental health as well as our bodies. Next slide is going to take it to another level, all right? So what's in our mind? We've seen this expression before, the mind is a terrible thing to waste, and all the ways the mind is wasted. But maybe it's the way our mind is ordered by structures in the society. So, do we say we are descendants of slaves, or do we say we are descendants of people before slavery, right? We are descendants of kings, queens, innovators, skilled artisans, and warriors. And in a sound mind, we have the proof, so we need to internalize that information because that makes us proud or happy, confident already. So we need to know our origin so that we're not like a tree without roots, as Marcus Garvey would say. This is Black August month. This is Black Business Month. This is Marcus Garvey's birth month. So who are we in those times and spaces? We are descendants of kings, queens, innovators, skilled artisans, and warriors. Innovators, Black History Month in February, we're reminded of what we invented, what we were the first to do. We were the first to do it long before we're recording that we're doing it here. And nobody goes and captures unskilled people. We are skilled artisans. We're the ones that built the houses without nails that still stand today on former plantations, right? You go to Louisiana, you go to Mississippi, particularly in the South, you will find houses that were built 400 years ago, 300 years ago, that the style is called tongue in groove, where they didn't have nails. When they did use nails, right? When they ran out of nails, they brought their skills from Africa and did the tongue and groove style for the house. And so Native Americans or indigenous people everywhere are skilled to survive in their environment. So, good morning, Queen Laura. Hi, Purple. Welcome, Danielle. We're on our first slide, and it says we are not descendants of slaves. We are descendants of kings, queens, innovators, skilled artisans, and warriors who were made into slaves, captured, enslaved, put to work. And because we are proud people, we did our work well, which is why a lot of what we do is still standing. The pyramids are still here. Those plantation houses are still here. The food is still here, right? We know there's no soul food in Europe, right? So let's move to the next slide. Not knowing that wastes our mind and causes all kinds of disorders, right? So you hear people talking about the global south. The global south is where people of color are. We are the majority in the world, right? And you don't usually hear about the north as much because they have other names to call themselves and manipulate our minds, right? But southern human and mineral resources, once discovered or uncovered, we are treated like mere market commodities. We're not an environment to be protected. We're not people to be respected. We are merely black, brown bodies on the market. And we work the minerals in the earth. That's a picture of Africa, where we started. And if you believe your Bible or anything else about origins, they keep telling you that they discovered the first woman in Africa. The Bible tells you about Adam and Eve, and the description of nature is definitely Africa, not anywhere else, right? So there's such a thing as the global south. The southern United States is part of the global south. The south feeds the north. The things that we do, the food, the agriculture, that's what fed the north, right? But because of the capitalist attitude, our bodies are the most important thing. We need you to work. We need you to have more workers. We need you to produce children. We need you to satisfy our needs. When I say we and our, I'm talking about the conquerors and the colonizers and the exploiters, right? And so instead of going around discovering people where they are, all right, uncovering, revealing, finding people where they are, all they saw was opportunity for their survival and to go beyond their survival to thriving, right? And so the black body is the foundation of the world, okay? And our resources. Everywhere in the world has some of this mineral resource or another, but we have it in a concentration in Africa. They can't even hide all the truth because when they explore, they saw the indigenous people with gold. They saw the indigenous people with iron. They talk about the Iron Age, but do we think about where the iron is becoming an age, right? And so today, to this day, you have the golden stool of the Ashantis. You have, when you go to Mexico, right, Aztec gold. So if we pay attention, do our own research, of course, as children, we take what we're taught, but that's where you build self-esteem, right? And so, what do you think about these pictures right now and the fact that the black body, the world is built on the black body and maybe even the black woman's body, right? So, how does that point, that opinion? or fact, depends on how you want to look at it. What do you feel about the notion that the world's progress is built around the Black body, a Black female body? Grand Rising, Marilyn, come on in. Okay. Black and brown bodies, black, brown, yellow, whatever they want to call it. The Southern bodies support the
Perhaps
world.
highlight just a little bit more for the new participants so that they
Yes.
can understand what we're talking about and participate.
Mhm.
And family, y'all quiet. I know we're all tired because it's Monday morning, but
It needs
let's
to
get the
sink
energy
in,
going. Come
but
on.
you've heard something like this before. It may not have been put this way, but the world has been built by Black bodies. Do you agree or disagree? Indigenous bodies. We are indigenous to the planet. Okay. All right. And so in the picture, you see enslaved people on the auction block, not just adults, but children, sometimes a whole family, right? We see two people there holding babies, right? And then we see somebody even sitting in a chair. Who's the weaker group at that point, right? Is it because you're that important or because you physically not as fit and fabulous as the people on the auction block, right? And so this is where the people came from, the colored picture. They knew what was there. They were using it. Someone went and saw them using it at different stages in our evolution, and they wanted what we had before they even realized they had some of that too, right? And so if you don't like to work, or if your climate even doesn't allow you to work and you're losing people in the wintertime, you go get some people to do the work for you, right? So again, Black bodies are the foundation of civilized society. Next slide, please.
Before we go on, I think
Hmm.
Chrissy's hand might be raised. The symbols here are strange. So, Chrissy, is your hand raised? I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Okay, there's a check here. I'm not sure what that means. Uh, okay, we'll go to the next slide.
Right? Someone said anything in the chat?
No, just good morning.
Okay. And so, Black empowerment lies in decolonizing our minds, emancipating ourselves from mental slavery so that we can be clear. And that knowledge will give us the courage as we wake up, stay woke, and redeem our mind body wellness, right? So, what do we mean by redeem? We hear redemption song, we love the music, we love Bob Marley. When do you redeem things? It has to do with money, doesn't it? In many cases, you redeem coupons, etc. How is it easy to decolonize our minds when everything around us tells us that we are less than, right? Women are the weaker sex. Blacks are not bright, right? So how do we decolonize our minds? We decolonize our minds with the truth, or even taking what we've been told and questioning what we've been told, right?
Family, wake up. Wake up, wake
Wake
up.
up, everybody. We won't put this one on the Facebook if there's nobody saying anything but me. Okay. So let's face it. Our minds have been cluttered with falsehoods. Our minds have caused us to have low self-esteem about ourselves. We hesitate to share information. We hesitate to share opinion, and our freedoms are going away. And that impacts the way we treat our bodies, right? Everything begins in the mind in terms of attitude and behavior, right?
And
Behavior then goes to the body.
Queen Laura's
Anyone
hand is
else?
up.
Hmm.
Laura's hand is up. Thank you.
Welcome, Laura. What do you
Grand
have to say?
Rising, everyone. Grand Rising.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
Professor Marilyn, for this conversation today.
Mhm.
What came to my mind about decolonization and redemption is education, educating ourselves about whom we are as an African people, knowing our contribution to the world, and becoming aware. There's a saying that man know thyself, and when we truly start to know ourselves, I think it will create a shift in
Mhm.
helping us to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery. I'm complete. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. And when we know ourselves, we become our own physicians who heal ourselves. Because even that's in the Bible. Physician, heal thyself, right? Of course, the culture says, no, you have to get another lawyer. You have to get another doctor. You can't do these things for yourself. You have to pay somebody to do it for you. But it starts in the mind. Okay? And so next slide may have something else that we want to think about. Post-traumatic slave syndrome. Have you heard of that term? All right. What is post-traumatic slave syndrome? It exposes our internalized racism. We're racist against ourselves if we have low self-esteem. If we're angry, you've heard of the angry Black woman. You see the way that we've been fed these addictive substances in our community. And of course, lots of other destructive behavior. The question is, what is post-traumatic slave syndrome? It's behaviors we exhibit as a result of generational responses and attitudes to slavery. It takes us back to the mind being the terrible thing to waste. All the mental, emotional, physical disorders that we have are directly related to the traumas of slavery. The nutrition we may have been deprived of, the abuse, physical abuse that we went through, it continues today, even in the fact that some people not just spank their children, but beat their children. First, out of fear, historically, that they would be noticed by the colonizer. And so it was meant to be quick, efficient discipline, protection, but it passed down as I was beaten, so I'm going to beat, right?
Mm.
I was abused, so I'm going to abuse in other ways, psychological abuse. A Black man goes to work, he's not treated well, he comes home, he doesn't treat his family well sometimes, right? Or he drinks, or she goes out, she's treated a certain way, she comes home, drugs are an escape. Or on a mass level, right, food becomes our comfort. We become addicted to food. And so our bodies are abused by ourselves, right? And so post means after, traumatic abuse, right? Violence. And so that syndrome is manifested in all the dysfunctions we have in society today. So people tell us, oh, get over it. That was in the past. It's not in the past. It's generational because we're programmed to self-destruct, right? And so we internalize racism. We even look at each other differently when we're a different complexion or our hair is different, right? Or our age. And so that is low cultural esteem as well as low self-esteem. And because we're not figuring it out, we just feel this rage sometimes that comes out. And sometimes it's just against whoever's around us versus the person that triggers it, right? And depending on the power dynamics between us and the people who trigger it, we want to keep our job, so we go home and take it out on somebody, or we take it out on the bus or on road rage and all these other things because we have to control ourselves around certain people in certain situations, but then we still have to release it, right?
A quick
And yes.
on in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Martine on Facebook says, I agree. And though this aspect of it may be new info for me, I say, what's new? We have been used and abused.
Absolutely. And the thing is, we have these different hierarchies. We have a hierarchy with different levels of power. And so the top power looks one way, right? And then it's a certain gender, maybe. And then it treats the second gender. And we're only saying second not because it's not equal, but because it's the social construct, right? And
Mm.
so the male is the leader, and then we have sexism. Before we even get to racism, we have sexism. And then we have certain manifestations of if that power is abused, the power we give away is used to abuse us, then we take it out on the children, right? And of course, if we on the block were bought to work and to reproduce, that's all our lives will be about generationally, right? This enslaved people weren't supposed to relax, weren't supposed to take a vacation out of town away from the work, the plantation. And so we live our lives today in these small cubicles of life, and we don't manage well. We think we're managing well because we have things. But did we buy them cash? Did we make them ourselves? Or are we living on credit, right? And stressed about that. And how do we take that stress home to our loved ones, right? The power can then sometimes be abusing children in different ways, right? And if you see something pretty, you want to break it. Think about that for a minute. And that's child abuse. You see someone vulnerable, you want to take advantage, right? And so think about how we are not only wasting our minds, but abusing our bodies because we've been programmed to by the way we were treated. The golden rule says treat others the way you want to be treated, but basically we're passing down a cycle of rage and revenge, but it's not against the person that did it to us, right? So if someone abused me, I see that person as having power. I'm going to use my power to abuse the next in line, right? And
Mm.
so we need this mind-body alignment to actually fix the entire family and community. Anything else in the chat or anyone want to chime
Actually,
in and respond to that?
our other Marilyn has her hand raised.
Hello, Miss Educator Marilyn. How are you
Hello,
today?
good morning, Marilyn. I'm doing well in yourself.
I'm wonderful, thank you.
And thank you so much for this conversation. I, for one, being that how like growing up, how my education was, being back and forth from different countries, it's kind of like scattered all over the place, and I'm like really diving into educating myself, as far like more about the slavery, black and brown people. And one thing that's kind of like coming up for me with this conversation is as well as like in our Spanish culture. We have been taught through generations to look or frown upon other Hispanics. Like if you're from Puerto Rico, most don't like Dominicans. If you're Dominican, you don't like Cubans. If you don't like Cubans, Ecuadorian, Mexicans, and it's just so like mind-boggling to me. And I speak about this with my husband. I was like, as Hispanics and with our black and brown, everybody get together. You know how powerful we would be. Hispanics take up a whole continent. Africa is a whole continent, and we're located like all over the world. And so I feel like we're so enslaved by our minds, but so much like you said, the colonization, the how our traditions, our culture, everything was wiped. Because even like in Puerto Rico, you have to really, really dig deep to find what those traditions were, and then even like again, now I'm trying to like really build and gather all this information and kind of like decolonize my mind. Tainos, those were the indigenous Indians and PR that were also located all across the Caribbean. And so here, like it's just mind-boggling, and I appreciate so much this conversation because it's something that has to be brought forth. It has to be shared because a lot of people are still lived with that mindset that stuck in that little bubble and not educating themselves or not even gathering or have access to this information. Am I incomplete?
Absolutely. And the Taino are a perfect example. And even with the name changing, you Taino Arawak, you've got Carib, you've got this, you've got that. And if you want to see what happened to us in during slavery and post colonial life, just look at the island of Hispaniola. You've never, it's Haiti is one country and Dominican Republic is the other. And the dynamics between the Haitians and the Dominicans is absolutely vicious, right? And so that's about the black bodies too. And then on either side, you've got the creolization and it becomes a class issue. So we go from, you machismo and sexism to even classism and colorism, even in one family. And I think the Latino population is an excellent opportunity to explore shadeism because of the things people say, right? You've got this even in the Filipino you cannot tell a Filipino that they have African heritage, but that's why you look like a Hispanic, right? The Spanish, the natives and blacks mixed together. And at different levels, the complexion changes a little bit. And so they don't want to be called Hispanic either, but they all have Spanish names, either first name or last name. So we are very confused as people, and black bodies are everywhere. And when they mix, it becomes brown bodies. If it mixes with yellow, we don't talk about it because we don't know. But there are pyramids on every continent except Europe, actually. They have other figures, stone figures. But we have pyramids in Asia, we have pyramids in India, we have pyramids in South America. We definitely have the originals in Africa. So how did that happen? We need to travel. That's the best book, traveling. And if you can't travel or you're not ready to travel, the people are here. Talk to people, meet people. We're at the bottom of the hour, and hopefully you don't have to leave, but we are all black and white, if you want to make it the extremes. are suffering from post-traumatic slave syndrome. It hurts both people because it deprives both of us of knowledge. It deprives both sides from communicating. It deprives both sides from becoming friends. We're already family. If you're fifth generation, anything from anywhere, you're mixed, right? Just because you look a certain way doesn't mean that's all that you are, right? And so we have a lot to get over because we've been so conditioned to feel a certain way about each other that we've internalized that and we have low cultural esteem. And then, of course, that makes us have low self-esteem because we belong in a community. So whatever happens on the macro level is also happening on the micro level. We know who the warriors are. The warriors are different from the warmongers, right? Warriors fight to protect and to end something. Warmongers start stuff, okay, and it never ends. Anything going on in the chat?
Yes, ma'am. Chrissy put in the definition and the effects of post-traumatic slave syndrome, PTSS. She says post-traumatic slave syndrome, PTSS, is a theory by Dr. Joy DeGroy,
DeGruy.
DeGroy that
Mhm.
explains how the multi-generational trauma of slavery, compounded by systemic racism and oppression, continues to affect Black people today. How it shows up: parenting, harsh discipline rooted in slavery era survival tactics, beat them before the slave master does; workplace, feeling the need to outperform, to be seen as equal, or code switching to avoid stereotypes; relationships, difficulty trusting, fear of vulnerability, or unresolved conflict patterns; self-worth, internalized beliefs about Black inferiority, colorism, or questioning value without overachievement; health, chronic stress leading to high rates of hypertension, anxiety, and depression. Thank you for that, Chrissy.
Thank you for your input, Marilyn. Thank you, Chrissy, for sharing that information. Dr. DeGruy um, is very recent in her presentation on that. And we've had some awesome conversations when she's made presentations in colleges and universities that I've visited, or the Shrine of the Black Madonna, where she presented. And you should read the book, read her books. Um, she's a treasure. And so that term, because people are thinking about what happened to us, that becomes a term in the last, what, 20 years or so, right? As we discover the bigger world and we see ourselves and our place in it, and so lots of terms will come up that we need to really pay attention to. Of course, it's a variation of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, that the military face after wars, right? Or even sometimes people in domestic violence situations, they hear a voice and they jump, right? So it's a variation of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. And so she says this is post-traumatic slave disorder or syndrome, right? And so we need to look at both, right? They're coming from the same place, right? And sometimes people feel better about themselves for a minute by abusing you for a minute, but it doesn't go away until we heal the hurts that have caused it. Okay. And so Black empowerment is education. And it's not college education. That's not everything you learn, especially for yourself, is education. The mind. When you put things in your head, you read, you're aware. And then awareness can lead us to advocacy. And advocacy happens in groups, right? Black Lives Matter is an advocacy group. You can advocate for something, you can advocate against something, and in our case, we do both at the same time, right? Because that's why our advocacy always brings in other people. It's never just we start out marching by ourselves, but a lot of people join us along the way, right? The civil rights movement was multiracial. It even had immigrants in it because you had Puerto Ricans, you had Jamaicans. Harry Belafonte was Jamaican heritage. Sidney Poitier was Bahamian heritage, Caribbean heritage. And what a lot of people don't know, we have groups now that are being prodded to say, well, there's blacks in America are not the same as blacks from the Caribbean. It's not their struggle. And it's already a fight over money we're not going to get called reparations, right? And so when you think about it, Sydney and Harry were good friends. They got together. I've met them both. And they said when Malcolm died and when Dr. King died, one took care of Malcolm's family and one took care of Dr. King's family. People don't know that, right? And so there's a lot we need to know, and some things we don't have to know we just need to take care of ourselves, right? Anything else in the chat?
No.
Okay, so you got your little trivia for today that Malcolm X's family was taken care of by Sidney Poitier, and Dr. King's family was taken care of by Harry Belafonte after they died, after their fathers died.
Thank you for
Okay,
sharing that.
because they weren't rich, right? They were busy doing the work. And so they died and left their children and families. Um, Thank you, Betty Shabbat. Thankfully, she was a professor. And so she was taking care of her family, but it took a lot to bury these uninsured folks because they were so busy taking care of other people and to send their children to school. And that's another day for another conversation about how some of them turned out in terms of when their mothers passed. Okay. And you probably didn't know also that uh, Shabazz, that the two daughters, older daughters, had a drama company together, King and Shabazz.
Oh, yes, I
Okay.
did know actually.
Right. Anything else? I see something popping up in the chat there or
This
Facebook.
book's having to head out.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Welcome, Manir. And so, is there one more slide?
I think so.
And so, it's a simple start, but we need to understand what that means, right? Food deserts are racism. It's a crime against humanity not to have a food store where you have a certain size population of people. And I don't mean a corner store where, things are resold. No. Nutrition comes from the ground, right? It's not from a lab, a chemistry lab. So what are you eating, right? Because the wrong food can make you depressed. You're trying to eat it for comfort in the first place. You're getting that ice cream, you're getting that KFC or whatever. And those chemicals aren't always what your body should have, right? And then exercise. We want to work indoors. And so at that point, hold on a second. All right, so nutrition means proper food. Exercise can be very simple. My grandchild's here, right? Rest. Do we rest? Okay. Relaxation. What does that mean? Is it just sitting in front of a television or how do you relax? Right? And then what is financial freedom? Are you thinking you're poor when you're only broke? And what do you do to fix that? So all of these things in the right perspective, it starts in the mind, right? And then in the practice, will redeem our bodies because our bodies are tired. Our bodies are stressed. Our bodies are abused. We abuse our bodies with what we eat and what we don't eat, right? And so redeeming that body, the black body, the brown body, the indigenous body, requires us not to just plant things to sell, but plant things to eat. All right. And I am complete. Any questions? Anything else in the chat? Do we agree, disagree with this last one? This is a solution. There's always a solution. Right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I encourage everyone who's here to go back and watch again because it seems like most of us were here and kind of not here at the same time. Very quiet today, very, very quiet. So,
And it's not the same to, come in and then just keep doing something else. You are listening, you are hearing, but it's supposed to be interactive, right? And I'm glad to see so many people came and thank those who participated. But the spirit of this, spirit of a woman, spirit of woo, is for interaction. Okay?
thank you, beloved.
Mhm.
Shall we go to the closing slide?
Absolutely. Yes.
Oh, we got a hand raised. Okay.
Teresa. Yeah.
I just want to tell you thank you for the information that you're giving us. And you showing up. I don't know what happened to us lately. People don't want to talk no more. We used to talk a lot, so Lord, whatever, unloose our lips, Lord, so we can be active. Because we stay on here for hour, for the whole hour, hour and a half, and sometimes we're not saying nothing. And you know, sometimes as a facilitator, makes you feel a little uncomfortable until you get to the place with me, is that I'm here to to serve. Whether people speak or not, I just want to make sure I do the assignment that I'm given, and so, but it can be, discouraging if no one's not saying anything while you're off facilitating. So
It's a lot to think about. Yeah.
um,
See, is it hard to go back to one slide, the first slide,
Back to the first slide.
or the second slide?
Let's see.
Is it a challenge? Because I think a lot of people came in after that, and it's where we start. Where the descendants, the one before that, right?
This one
Okay.
there. Okay.
Yes. And so I started out by saying we are not descendants of slaves, right? That's what people want us to think. We are descendants of kings, queens, innovators, skilled artisans, and warriors. Any wars fought on American soil, blacks have helped to win it. Indigenous people have helped. They were the scouts sometimes because they knew the territory, right? If we weren't innovators, if we were just lazy people sitting under a tree, they wouldn't have taken us. They wanted us to work. And so we are the innovators. Black History Month proves that. Unfortunately, it's only done in February. We have our inventors. We have skilled artisans. I talked about the fact that nails were used to build some houses, but some of the plantations you still see today were not built with nails. They were built with a style called tongue in groove, a technique where you just dig out part of the wood and you make sure that the other piece of the wood fits in it. And it was very secure. So our intelligence is what was needed as well as our bodies. Okay. And when we don't know that, we have low self-esteem, thinking we're slaves, and we don't want to be slaves anymore. We're tired, right? So who did they make slaves? The best cooks, the best builders, right? The best mothers. All right. And so that second slide, the one after this one, shows you it was our bodies that were on the block, right? It was our bodies that were sold. Our minds are not sold. They're conditioned. We're programmed to self-destruct. And so we have reproduced for them. We have worked, produced, and reproduced. Right now, we need to produce and reproduce for ourselves. And we can go back now to the end.
Okay.
Um,
And
my
before
last
that,
word, before the
uh,
last word,
yeah,
probably.
let me briefly read the chat. Laura
Yeah.
says we were enslaved, not slaves. Absolutely correct. And Chrissy
Mhm.
says nutrition, exercise, rest, education, and relaxation strengthen the body and mind. But the real shift comes when we also reclaim power, rewrite narratives, and rebuild systems. Cultural reconnection, learn and live our African history, languages, and traditions to repair identity theft. Economic power, cooperative economics, ownership, and wealth transfer to undo centuries of exploitation. Collective healing, spaces, community circles, storytelling, and intergenerational dialogue to break silence and stigma. Mental health care, culturally competent therapy to address generational trauma head on. Policy change and justice work remove the systems that keep trauma in place, not just. This is regarding the last slide about solutions. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Okay. That's pretty much how we took it. We brought it through to the end. You can take it back to the end,
Yeah, let's do
Z.
that.
Um,
Come on, Marilyn.
those are solutions, yes. So yes, Black empowerment lies in decolonizing our minds. And our minds were still being colonized. And I like an expression that was used about identity theft. We're not the thieves. We were given other people's identity. That's why we don't have African names. So even our identity was manipulated from us, and we now have to reclaim those things, right? But a lot of this is not about even going to Africa. It's about taking care of ourselves based on the conditions we are in. So we have the power over nutrition if we want to. We can exercise if we want to. We can rest if we want to. There are 24 hours in the day. We can do 8 hours of work, 8 hours of, sleep, and what are the other 8 hours for, right? Relaxation and nurturing your mind, right? So everything that's in the solution is within ourselves. We don't have to depend on someone else. We are working, we have money. How are we managing that money, right? We live somewhere. Do we come home to a clean space so that we come in and just exhale? We can do a lot for ourselves, and that's where the mind body wellness comes in, right? It's what's in your mind and how you work with what's in your mind that heals your mind and your body at the same time when possible. Okay. There'd
Awesome.
be anybody
Thank
else in
you.
the chat? Is
Uh,
there one
that was
last word?
that was a that was everything. Okay.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you for listening. Um, good morning, Adam. A special offer. Free financial workshops and coaching online. Um, Our minds are trapped in a certain space because the opportunity is there to find financial security. So take advantage. We tend to think free things aren't good. Well, we were free and we did a good job building everybody's country. Right? So now we need to build ourselves and our families and make sure that you're gonna retire, right? Or you may be retired now. You need to make sure you have enough. Social Security is not enough when you hit 65. And a lot of companies do not have a retirement plan for you. Maybe the 401k, but some of that's your money, right? Is it going to be enough? Math is actually your friend. We invented it for a reason. And so if you want some financial workshops on how money works, we can talk. It doesn't matter where you are because it's done online. Okay. I'll let you talk, see.
Well, can you take a moment to talk about the best ways to connect with you?
Okay, I will. So you may contact me at 832-495-7986. Text me with your email and your name, of course, and I will send you the link to the workshops. You have options of 3 different times in a day, Monday to Friday, so that it is convenient even on your lunch break for some people. And so it's in your hands. On Instagram at Caribbean Impact. It's mostly fun and cultural information. And then, of course, you may also email me your phone number at pvchambertx@gmail.com. If you want to be hooked up to the workshop, I need your phone number and your email. And texting is the best way to go, but I respond to the phone and the email um, outreach.
Thank you, beloved.
Mhm.
Thank you. Love offerings and donations. It takes money to keep this space going. We have to pay for the Zoom and all of the systems that we have put in place to keep this going. We work as volunteers, both the facilitators and the administrators work as volunteers, but the things like the Zoom require funds. And so we ask that those who are growing and learning from this space help us to keep it going. And one of the best ways to do that is to treat it like a subscription or like a tithe and set it up so that it's coming out monthly. And once you set it up, we don't want you to forget that you've done it, but you don't have to remember to do it every month. It will automatically come out. And you can do it in these amounts, 25, 50, 75, or $100 a month. Or if any of these is not what you need, you want more or less or something in between, you can email us and tell us what you want, and we'll set one up specifically for you. And we appreciate all those who are doing it already, and we encourage those who are not to consider it. Thank you so very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And all this information should be in the chat, thanks to our other facilitator, excuse me, our other admin, Sierra. Uh, Up next, tomorrow, August 12th, we have Zuri Lyons coming back, talking about better AI prompting. So her first session introduced us to the virtual world or the world of AI, and it came up in the conversation that people are exploring it, but are having challenges with figuring out how to ask the systems what they need to ask to get the information they need. So she's coming back to talk about that. And on Wednesday, August 13th, our beautiful Dion Monsanto will come back and we'll find out what she's going to talk about, but we know it's going to be juicy, whatever it is.
Mhm.
And the Woo Nation welcomes all newcomers. I didn't see any new faces here today, but some may look familiar to me and not actually uh, be having been around. But once you come here, you're part of the family. This community is where we come to learn, elevate, and ascend, and we welcome you to come and join us. Once you come, once you don't have to do anything to become part of the family except show up. So please keep coming back and bring other folks with you because we have a lot of juicy information to share and help to grow ourselves and our community. When to come. We are here 5 days a week from Sunday through Thursday, 3 days out of the week, Sunday through Tuesday and Thursday. We're here from 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. ish. And Mondays and Wednesdays are shorter sessions. All sessions start at 7 a.m. the Monday and Wednesday and at 7:30 a.m. ish. And we stream here on Zoom and also on Facebook Live. And if you need a reminder when we're going to be on, you can send a text, Woo Nation, all caps, to 74121 to get a notification roughly a half an hour before the session, so help you get up and get freshen up and get your nourishment and your hydration, and join us at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. All times are Eastern Time. I don't think I said that before. Yes, all times are Eastern Time. So adjust if you're anywhere else in the country or the world. And if you want to pause or stop the alerts, you can send stop to the same 74121, and it will stop it, and then you can go back and put Woo Nation again when you're ready to come back. Thank you. Keep in touch. We are, if you came here new and you just received a link just to join us, we encourage you to register so you can get our weekly notifications of who's coming up and what they're going to be talking about. And it also helps us to keep to know who's in the space and have some information about those who are in the space. You can do that by bit.ly at / Wake Up Movement. We have two Facebook community areas. One is a private group, and the other is a public page. And bit.ly / Woo Community, all lowercase, is private, and there you would go and join, and someone would bring you into the community, and then you can go to the public page and and like us there, and that's bit.ly / Woo Nation, all caps. We're on Instagram, building that up at Wake Up Everybody Virtual, and we are building our archive going back to when we first started in March of 2020, when we were all shut down by the pandemic, uh, and we're also adding current sessions, so we'll kind of meet in the middle somewhere and have it all there. But you can find out how we started out, and you can find particular facilitator sessions and follow them. So you go bit.ly / Woo on YouTube to do that. And if you need to email us with any information or comments, suggestions, recommending facilitators, volunteering to be part of our admin, anything like that, send it to info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. I'm going to bring the slides down now and put it on gallery view so that we can give Marilyn her well-deserved love shower.
Thank you, Professor Marilyn. Thank you.
Everyone come off.
Thank you,
Come
Professor.
off mute.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
thank you, thank you.
Awesome
Thank you.
information as usual.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Professor Marlon. Thank you.
Ms. Rashida.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
One love, guys. One love.
One love.
Thank you.
Grace and peace.